Hi, I'm Jill from Jill's Home Remedies, and today I'm going to talk about asthma, some ways that you can help prevent asthma attacks, some ways you can stop asthma attacks, and maybe even rid your life of asthma completely if you or someone you know suffers from asthma. And I put this formula together. It's called the Lung and Respiratory Tract. It's a Dr. Christopher formula, and it has 5 herbs: comfrey, mullein, chickweed, marshmallow root, and lobelia. And what you do is you take equal parts of each herb and mix them together. Just mix them up real good. You can put them in the bag and just shake them around, or stir them in a bowl and then store them in a bag. But what you're going to do is do equal parts, which means, if I was wanting to do half a cup of each herb, that's what I would do. Or if you wanted to make more at once, you could do a cup of each herb. That would be fine, but you just want to make sure there's equal parts of each herb in this mixture. You just mix it up, and there's different ways you can take this. You can make it into a tea, which you would bring about a cup of water to a boil. I would put 2 teaspoons of these herbs in the boiling water, and then you take it off the stove and let it steep with the lid on for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you would strain the herbs and drink that cup of tea. And you would do that. They recommend for adults to drink a cup of this tea 3 times a day. You could also make this into a glycerin tincture, which I have demonstrated on one of my other videos on how to make a glycerin tincture when I'm doing an immune boosting tincture. And so you can you do the exact same thing, putting the herbs in a jar and covering them with glycerin and keeping it warm for 3 days. You do the exact same thing as my other video. And I'm probably going to end up doing a tincture out of this mixture for my daughter. But you can make a tincture, and then you can also grind these herbs up in a coffee grinder and put them in capsules and take them that way too. So for the capsules, I would take 2 capsules 3 times a day for adults and do 10 to 20 drops of the tincture if you made a tincture 3 times a day. And that's an adult dosage, so for children you would normally do half of the adult dosage is what they recommend. So these are some herbs, like I said, that you can use to help break up that mucus and expel it and help calm the spasms and just really help with asthma, with tuberculosis, with emphysema, with bronchitis, with a cough, with some kind of a lung thing. This is just the lung formula. And I have Ruth with me here. This is my daughter Ruth. She's 4, and I'm going to show you just a few things that you can do if someone's having a bad asthma attack. There's some reflexology things you can do, and if you're not familiar with body reflexology, I will also have that resource on my website so you can get more information about that. But if someone's having a bad asthma attack, what you can do, here's one of the reflexology things for someone with an asthma attack. This dip right here in the neck, you would stick your finger in, and not hard enough to bruise, but you want it firm enough to help stop it. You would push it in and push down is what you would do, and it helps open up that airway. And I know of people that have literally felt like their life was saved. They didn't feel like they could make it to the hospital because their asthma attack was so bad, and they were literally saved with this technique. You push your finger in, either the pointer finger or the middle finger. You push it in, you pull down, like I said, not hard enough to bruise it, but firm enough where you're going to open up that passageway, and then just kind of massage down. So that's one way. Another thing that you can do is on their back, not directly on the spine, but there's reflexes on the sides of the spine, and there's a reflex button, about right here, and then there's one here that's a little bit further out, and then further out, and you can push these reflex buttons. You hold them for a count of 7, and it can immediately stop an asthma attack. And one way you can know if you're hitting the right spot, reflex spot, is if the spots are going to be sore. If it's the spot for asthma. If somebody's having an asthma attack, they're going to be sore as you push in on it and you massage it, you hold it in for 7 seconds, and you're going to do that. You can do that on the separate, I think there's 3 or 4 separate reflex buttons on the back for asthma. So if somebody's having an asthma attack, you can do that. And then another thing you can do to stop an asthma attack, whenever someone's having an asthma attack, the top part of their lungs is not getting very much blood. There's not a good blood flow there. So something you can do is you can pick up the person if they're young enough and literally hang them upside down like that. And that can stop an asthma attack because you're getting blood to the top part of the lungs, that's going to get that blood flowing, and it's going to help stop the asthma attack. Now obviously if you're by yourself or if it's an older person, they can, hang off a chair upside down or off the couch or something like that to help stop an asthma attack. And if you're by yourself and you're having a bad asthma attack, you can push right here. And also something else they recommend is taking the edge of a door, just the very edge, and pushing your back, not, like I said, not directly on the spine, but on the sides of the spine. You're going to push your back against that door frame and press it there for about 7 seconds, and you're going to know if you're hitting the reflex buttons. If it's sore, it's going to be sore. It's going to be slightly painful, not real bad, but that can help instantly stop an asthma attack if you're by yourself.